Yes. All right. Here we are with another episode of Welcome to the Family. As always, it's your usual crew. Jason, Zach, Micah. Um, Today, does anybody have anything specific? Oh, yeah. Talk about your problem.
Talk about your problems. Which one's that?
The other Zach has had a situation.
I had 2 teeth pulled yesterday. Everything's going good. Out of pain now for a
Oh,
week.
okay, so you're not really a lot of pain anymore. I was thinking that you were still struggling.
Big time.
That's good. That's good that you're not struggling anymore. So I guess without any further ado, I'll turn it over to Jason, and he'll introduce our topic for the day.
We're talking about the importance of assembling together as a church, as a community, and just basically having each other's backs and what that's all about. So, the Bible tells us not to forsake our gathering together, and I've found in my recent walk that if it weren't for other Christians, I probably would have fell off the wagon a long time ago, for sure. I can cite specific examples.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, I think we all could.
yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've definitely been in situations where I've not had the community and the fellowship, and that's as far as I ever want to be from Christ. Like, I mean, it just gets really lonely. Okay. It gets lonely, and it's just it's really easy to get discouraged when you don't have someone texting you every day like we're able to do, discussing just like how our daily walk with Christ is going. Being able to tell somebody like, "Hey, I got my Bible reading done for the day." So just like being around you guys specifically, um, has just strengthened not only my relationship with Christ, but like my desire even to grow closer to Christ.
Yeah, as us humans, just as humans, we have an emotional need to be close to people, to be in like vulnerable relationships with other people, and without it, we struggle for sure. Like there was a year where I was working a job like at a different time that Rachel, my wife, was working a job, and so I was taking care of the kids in the morning, and then she was getting home from work, and she was getting the kids, and I was going to work, and then that went for like a full year. I hardly spent any time with anybody else, and that was such. It was I was serving at a restaurant, so it was like I was getting some social interaction, but that just wasn't like I felt like deprived.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, like the stress of life, I think it takes a lot of it off when you have a church family to fall back on. And you know there are people that are for you and they're in your corner. Because the Bible talks about how the Gentiles, or we would call unbelievers now, we would say, well, the Bible says that they lord over each other, you know, and Christ says it's not like that with you. He says the one who wants to be great among you will be your servant. So you become a slave to, you know, like you just want to give yourself to people because you love them,
Yeah.
because you're supposed to, and it doesn't work that way in the world. So to have none of that is just dismal.
I remember I had a boss that we were talking. I think I asked him. This really stuck with me. I asked him. It's like you get together with your friends. Like what's your social life? And he's like, no, I don't have any friends. I'm like, He's just like, you have easy, you have a church. We don't have, like, it's impossible to make friends as an adult with 3 kids. And I was like, whoa, like, no, that's just simply gathering together with other people. Like, set aside all of the other, like, spiritual stuff. Like, church is just like, at the very, very, very least, it brings together people and builds and helps build
Oh, yeah.
relationships. There's a word. It helps facilitate. It helps
Nurture?
incubate, nurture.
Yeah. Galatians 6:2. Carry each
Yeah.
other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ.
Share each other's burdens.
Carry each other's burdens.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll lift you up, man.
Oh yeah. Last night I shared my struggles with Zach.
Yeah.
And I shared my struggles with that Zach. And I've shared them with you. And I don't know if you couldn't do that, or if you could, with you share the same things with people that are in the world and they don't really get it.
They're like, what's the problem?
Yeah, well, that's good. That is good. No, it's not.
Yeah, I mean, and I was able to like also, kind of lay some burdens of mine, like help or almost, I guess, yoke our burdens together, because they're similar. We had a similar situation, I guess, long ago, but it's just moments of weakness. The enemy, he thinks he can sneak a punch or two in. Guess what, though? We have each other.
Yeah, there's strength in numbers.
Yep, absolutely.
Ecclesiastes chapter 4 verses 9 through 12 says, 2 are better than one because they have a good return for their labor. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up, but pity anyone who falls and has no one to help them up. Also, if 2 lie down together, they will keep warm, but how can one keep warm alone? Though one may be overpowered, 2 can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken.
Makes me think of, this is totally a pop culture reference. If you've ever watched Rise of the Planet of the Apes,
Yeah.
Caesar, when he takes the stick, he's talking to the orangutan. He breaks it, he's like, apes separate, or apes alone, weak. Apes together, strong. And then the orangutan goes, apes stupid.
That reminds me of a time. It's probably not worth sharing the story, but when you said, I had that verse in my head, but I've only had like half of that verse in my head.
Yeah.
2 are better, wait, what is the exact wordage on it?
Yeah,
It's like 2 are better than, I'm confused. That's okay. Yeah. Hold on. 2 are better than 1. Yeah, that's what I thought. 2 are better than 1. But the whole lying down and keeping each other warm.
Yeah.
I started laughing in my mind because it brought me back to one time where I went camping with my buddy. We didn't set up our tent because it's a clear starry sky.
Yeah.
Totally clear. And we're like, we go to sleep around the fire, and then it starts raining in the middle of the night. We're like, oh crap. So we just like, no, not yet.
Oh, dude.
It comes down to like a downpour.
Oh, no.
And then we
Yeah.
what happens
Someone
is
for
we're
singing
like,
by the fire.
That's where the story ends.
my buddy gets on the bed. We get on the same sleeping pad, but the other sleeping pad above us, and try to like share each other's warmth to survive a night of consistent downpour until it starts hailing, and then we're like, and we're completely drenched, and we're like, and we went, we started hiking back in the dark, and it was
Kind of a similar story here.
that
Just since we're sharing stories.
okay, yeah.
Just real quick. 2 of my buddies had 1-person tents, and I brought my hammock. It was like 30 degrees that night, so I crawled in one of the 1-man tents.
Yeah.
We cuddled for warmth.
Yep. I've done that too.
Hey.
Then we all know
Yeah.
what that verse means and how much like better it is.
Right, yeah. I mean, just the importance of like having someone there for spiritual warmth.
Yeah, I think it's a picture. I think we.
Hey, Proverbs 17:17. A friend loves at all times. Brother is born for times of adversity.
It says brothers mourn.
Brother is born.
Born.
A brother is born for a time of adversity.
Oh yeah.
I feel like everybody has
Oh.
just friends, but whenever things get tough, they kind of disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds like child squalling. We try to escape this. But, I mean, you know, we're in a church building.
It's a family.
It's a family. Welcome to the family. This is part of it. If you've ever been to a good, close family, sometimes the house sounds like that. But just like the importance of like loving at all times, like it's so easy for me to love you all based on like the relationship that we've had and developed over a lifetime or over a year or over just a few months.
Yep.
I feel as close to you as I do Zach and Jason.
No way.
100%.
No, that
I mean,
brings me
Wow.
to.
you're my brother.
I thought of this. You made me think of it again. Okay, I've heard people say, well, people at church are more judgmental than people outside the church. You know, you heard that?
Yeah.
They're judgmental. And,
Heard it.
well, I'm like, it's a family who has learned and has been taught by the Creator to admonish and encourage. And we don't do it perfectly, we're humans. But I've had people in this church, and I've probably done it back, where I don't make you feel comfortable, or I take you off. We're humans, you know, we're people. But you don't just quit, you know.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
You probably threw a hissy fit on your mom a time or two, but she still took care of you.
Right.
And this is how family works.
Yeah.
So don't expect churches to be perfect, right?
I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. We're humans. We're as human as it gets.
Broken, simple, dirty.
Yeah. I mean.
Not darn dirty ape stuff. Ape stupid.
But it goes to show, and I mean, even inside of families, you'll have some adversity and.
Your family's
kinda.
not weird like anybody. Everybody thinks their family's just screwed up and they don't want all the dirt out, and I'm like, I've come to find they're all pretty much the same. Like,
Yeah. Because they're in each other's lives, and they're like, there's full transparency in a family, and that's
Yeah.
why it looks so screwed up. That's why it feels so screwed up, is because you guys know each other's. Well, we as a church family, that we build this family on transparency, and we know we are screwed up, but we still love each other.
Oh yeah.
Because we're standing on the rock.
yeah,
Just
we
like-
understand that we're supposed to. People don't do it. Christ sees us as we are glorified. Like He sees the perfected. He sees the you in the future that He knows is coming. We can't see that, but we see that we try. You know, like we get forgiveness and compassion. We don't always show it, but people are broken, and people can be forgiven. People can be redeemed. People can change. and I've heard people say, well, you don't need to go to church to know God. I'm like, I didn't need a car to get here. But it sure as heck helped.
It sure does. It sure does. And I mean, we can even like talk about the definition of the church. It's not a building. This is not like we're not in church. We are the church. We are a community of believers who gather together to fellowship and worship the Lord.
Yeah,
Like-
Matthew chapter 18 verse 20, for where 2 or 3 gather in my name, there I am with them.
Yeah. The Lord's here.
Yep.
And that is church. Doesn't have to be a building per se, but the institution is us, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
No.
The gears are turning.
No.
Let's just-
I'd see it this way, like, you have second, third, fourth cousins, right? You call them family, right? They're all part of your family.
Mm.
But you choose to spend time with your intermediate family, like who you do Christmas and Thanksgiving with, who you share a home with, like that's kind of like our the building that we go to every week. That's like the church, the people that we commit to spending time with. And I think it's like the family metaphor or picture to like the family of Christ, the church, is a good one because it's like you commit yourself to that, because I think the commitment is important. I think if you go into church thinking like, well, if things don't gonna go my way and I don't get like served well, I'm just gonna be out of here. You wouldn't do that with your brother and your mother and your father. Your mother and your father. No, you can't just choose another family.
Right, yeah,
You don't.
sure.
Not to say that there aren't times that moving on isn't like it's a fallen world and moving on isn't always a bad idea. Or sometimes moving on is because you're called to go preach the gospel to somebody else. But like in a simple fundamental idea of like what we think about the church should really look more like what we think about our own intermediate family. When it really hit me hard when I thought about when Jesus told, who was it, John, take care of.
Care for my mother.
Yeah, care for my
She's
mother.
your mother now. Yeah.
She's your mother now. It's like that. Now this doesn't, I guess, directly. We are called to take care of one another, right? And like Jesus, one of his final words was like, "You take care of this person." Like, and I think we are often also called to take care of this person, take care of this person. Like we're not meant to, like we're meant to serve each other. And I think in some ways, like in much more significant roles than like, yeah, I go to church with this fella. Yeah, he goes to my church, but he sits on the left side, so I don't really talk to him much. But I think, like, that's so sad. Like, if we go, like, we are committing to these people, and there are people that we should be, like, looking for, like, that we can invest and, like, help.
Yeah, I was talking to this lady in the sauna with Kendra. Yeah, and she was from New York, and they're gorge people that come down here and climb rocks. And we started talking to her like, "Hey there, what's your mom and them up to?" And
Yeah, how's your mom and them?
yeah, she's like, people just don't talk to each other where I'm from. And I'm like, they should probably. So there's whole cultures of people out there that it would just
Yeah.
be so odd for them to even speak to a stranger. But the Church of Christ is like, literally give them your jacket if they ask for a shirt. Like, do anything and everything, go above and beyond for anybody. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
That is a crazy dynamic. Like thinking about living in New York City and all your friends and family. Like you would probably walk down the street every day for a year and never see one of them just walking down the street. And I can drive through Stanton and I can see the Jeep and I can see the Toyota and Mike, I don't know if you drive, I'm sorry. I should be able to.
I don't
I should
live
be
in
able to.
Stanton, so.
Well, that's true. But, like, I mean, I can do that 3 or 4 times a week.
Mm.
That's a crazy dynamic.
You should go to New York City. It's crazy. That was actually one of my
It's
first
actually, it seems terrifying.
Yeah,
It really
it was
does.
one of my first my first like whoa moments is like walking down the through Times Square and just like tons of people and then me I grew up in Northwest Ohio. I'm like looking at there's so many people to look at and like that's what you do, you make eye contact with people. That's how I grew up. And so I was like no one's recognizing me.
Zero.
Nobody. It's weird.
Dang.
So what
It
you're
is
saying,
so weird.
great opportunity for a mission trip.
But we did do mission trip there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's pretty sweet. Open air evangelism in New York City.
So, I have a question based on this verse I just read.
Okay.
Hebrews 10:24.
Mm-hmm.
I guess
Money verse.
you were gonna get there. Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Okay. And let us consider how we may spur one another on towards love and good deeds. How do we do that? How do we do that on a daily basis? How do we, myself included, but I want to hear from you all first.
Well,
Spur one another.
yeah, so.
Spur like a horse. Like
Exhort.
kick each other.
Giddy up!
Yeah.
Giddy up.
Yeah!
I make sure he reads the Bible. He makes sure I read the Bible.
Yep.
I send clips from Paul Washer to everybody.
I got one of those last night.
I'm not saying that that's the way the church is ran. I'm holy where I sent that video. No, I mean, it's just talking about these things, contemplating them.
Accountability.
And it's not even like you're chasing righteousness with it. You just want to share it.
Yeah.
This is just, you want, like, I mean, I don't know if righteousness is the correct word. It's not like you're chasing praise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you just.
Because we are chasing righteousness. But
You just don't want to see one of your family members fail or fall.
right. Yeah, 100%. True.
Yeah, well, the Bible teaches us that we're either gonna be hot or cold, but Jesus is like, you don't be lukewarm. That's, you gotta keep up. Like, how do you keep up spiritual fervor? I think there's a line, I guess, that you don't want to go all loony, but keeping each other accountable, reading the Bible, talking about the Bible, talking about Jesus. Come to church. Where you at? I had Brian Lynn show up at my house. Like, why you been all weird lately a few months ago? And I was like, well, I fell into temptation. Thank you for showing up. Done his job.
Mm-hmm.
Got me back in church. It's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. For me, something that I like to do, one thing that I have done is just share my Bible study tips with you all.
Yeah.
And I actually, like where we've been doing the Bible
Tips
in a
and
year.
tricks?
Yeah, kinda. Where we've been doing Bible in a year, I haven't really done like a week-long devotional. I've read my Bible and prayed and pondered on that. But I did one today. I actually did one, and I followed my plan. So the Bible app devotionals, you read like the devotion first, and then the verses. So what I did there was as I read through the devotional, I jotted down notes. It was the name of it's Our Spiritual Warfare, and I actually think it's a women's Bible study, but it works because at one point it just mentions just women, like it says, we as women are facing it, spiritual warfare today, and I was like,
oh man.
but it doesn't matter. But I was jotting down notes on the devotional, and then I did like copy down the Bible verse verbatim, paraphrase, take notes on that, yada yada yada, write my prayer out. So, and I meant to text you all earlier and just be like, hey, I actually did a Bible reading, like a Bible verse or a Bible devotional that I started, and I was going to encourage you all, but I figured, why not just wait until now?
Yeah.
Encourage us all to try to do it, like continuously do like week long, like a new one every week.
Yeah.
Bible or devotional, Bible app devotionals. Yes. Sorry. And it just, I felt a, a good amount of peace today. It's just been a good day.
Tips and tricks for the guy.
That is a good tip. I wrote it down actually. I'm gonna start doing that.
Solid. Let me see if I can. I might just start it over and ask you all to join me.
There you
It was
Oh,
our
I
modern
see.
warfare.
Oh.
Our modern warfare. Ephesians 6:10 is put on the armor of God, the whole armor of God. John 8:31 through 36 and Galatians 5:1. Those are my Bible verses for the day. Very encouraging. And that's just a way that we can spur one another on.
Maybe not memento. I got to give Mark his keys back.
Oh yeah.
Oh. Ugh. Boys.
Well,
No,
we're just doing friendship right now. We're just doing. Oh.
Hi, Mom.
Hey Elizabeth.
Oh, we lost Jason. Well,
He'll be back.
yeah.
And this is a very like unfiltered podcast. Like
Unedited.
yeah, like I don't edit
Mildly
this.
unfiltered.
Just because
I
I
mean,
want
like if we weren't recording this, you know, who knows what you'd be saying. Loose cannon.
Yeah, loose cannon. Just because I want it to feel like you're just a part of it, like we're not trying to hide anything. I just want it to feel like a family. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It is so important to have somebody that you can just be yourself with.
Yeah.
That you can just speak your mind. And in Colorado, I had one guy most of the time I was there that just stuck with me. And for example, when I started having, I had a huge, I had a ton of social circles. And as soon as I started having kids, they were like, oh, better not call Micah because he's busy. And then it just,
Yeah.
and then just one dude stuck with me. And that guy brought me out of the, muck more than a lot. And we gotta have guys that that will bring you out of the muck.
Yeah.
It's like,
Muck
and you have to
breakers.
work on getting those guys. You got it doesn't, especially as an adult with jobs and children. It's like relationships don't go quickly. They don't. They take time.
Yeah.
You're busy. It really does take time, but I think it's so important to have it's important to serve the church body.
Yeah.
It's important to give your jacket when
That's what I'm
somebody
talking
asks
about,
for a
like
shirt.
spurring people along, like Brian. He asked me like 4 or 5 times, you going to Ohio with me? I was like, yep, I'm going. And he wasn't gonna let me not go. I was like, and I'm glad I went because I got to
Yeah.
serve those people up there and meet a bunch of new people, and they're really nice. And every time you do something for the church that you don't necessarily feel like doing at the moment, you're gonna reap a reward for it eventually at some point. There's heavenly rewards every time you go out of your way. People don't want to go out of their way for nothing.
Right.
Well, I don't either, but
It's true.
it's every time, 100% of the time, it's always worth it.
It seems like everything you do for the Lord that you really don't want to do, you never look back and say, well, I wish I hadn't done that.
Yeah, right.
You always end up loving
I'm
it.
glad I did that.
You always end up loving it for sure.
Yeah. It's true.
Well, I've got a kid now.
Hey Blair.
She's staring off into space.
Be there.
She used to love me, and now she just every time I hold her, she cries. Anytime she gets this close to my face,
She's been
she
doing
cries.
it.
Hmm?
It's like a mommy's girl, you know? That only lasts
She'll grow
so
out of
long.
that.
That only lasts so
Yeah.
long.
Yeah.
Speaking of mommy.
Told her to come on in.
Well.
Come on in and be a part of the family.
Wow.
Sounds like it's crazy out there. I don't know if it's just
Yeah.
my
What time
microphone's
is it?
picking up a
Everybody's
lot of
out now, isn't
gain.
it?
It's 10 after.
It's 10 after.
But I'm picking up a lot of gain, and I can like hear through the walls.
Yeah, I was wondering if these were microphones or megaphones. How do
Pretty
I
awesome.
hear the neighbor's cat?
There's
next door?
five.
Well,
Five phones.
Do you think this is a good place to wrap it up?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Been a good one, boy.
Good. I agree.
I mean, I could keep talking about it, but it's like we had a good chat.
Yeah.
And
And we can always do a part 2. Like there's no laws against podcasting. I don't think.
There's no rules.
We can literally talk about whatever we want, however many episodes we want.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like we have a huge following, but
True that.
we appreciate those that do.
Us four, we listen.
It's true.